Hey, Rapid Africa. All day. Yeah. Either find we, then we'll find we today. Yeah. Rise up.
Hello, Kensani.
Hello, my sister.
This is Africans Leaving America. And can you please introduce yourself to the platform?
My name is Christine Hannah. I am from New Jersey in America, and I've been in your group for a while, which I absolutely love. I learned so much.
Wow.
So I'm glad for the opportunity to share my experiences.
That is great. And I never knew that you were in a group. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people in there. So have you made like any friends in the group or anything since you've been there?
That I talk to outside the group? No, most of the people I talk to within the group. But I do have a lot of people that I've saved for when I want to visit certain places, because there's also a lot of people with businesses. So I want to make sure I connect with them when I'm going to those countries. So I have lots of those contacts, thankfully.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's what the group is for contacts. Make a friend in Africa, the country that you want to visit. That's why the group was open, so we can get to know each other, bridging the gap between African Americans and Africans that's in Africa. So, Miss Kensani, when was the first time you knew that you wanted to visit Africa?
Really all my life, but what we're told in America is that it's so expensive. So I just thought, like, I'm probably not going to be able to go till I'm like 50 or 60 years old, and I've saved up thousands of dollars.
That's exactly what we think, isn't it? That's exactly what we think.
Yeah, for a long time, even throughout college, I thought that. And so I just kind of put it on the back burner, like I don't have the money. I didn't even research it. It was just, we were told it's expensive. So I just believed it. And I on the back burner for like a bucket list.
Okay. Now, when you went to Africa for the first time, do you remember which year it was?
That was 2015.
Okay.
And it was like totally last minute. Someone was asking me to come. Actually, my spiritual mom, who kind of adopted me, she was asking me to come for that whole year. And I was like, well, I didn't say I was coming this year. I said I would come because I'm still thinking I don't have the money.
Yes.
So then my mom, my birth mom, was like, you need to go. Like, you're here and you've been doing a lot for me. You need to go and I'll pay for it. So I just went and looked up the tickets. And it was $600. $636 was my first ticket. And that was a round trip ticket.
Wow.
And my jaw was on the floor. And I was like, all this time, I could have been to Africa every year, twice a year. The tickets was this cheap. So that was it. I booked a ticket and 2 weeks later I was out.
Okay. And what was the first country that you visited in Africa?
That was South Africa that I went to because that's where my spiritual mom is from.
Okay.
So in the countryside down there, and her children are in the city. So I got to see both sides.
Okay. Now, how did your family feel when you told them that you were going to Africa for the first time?
Everybody was positive. They were like cautious, be careful, because no one has been to Africa except for one person. That person's not alive. That was my grandmother. But everyone was like just cautious, but was happy because they know that I love Africa and I'm the most knowledgeable about African history, Black American history. So they were like, oh, that's totally you. And then one person, which was my brother, I guess he was joking, but he was kind of like, I don't know if they're going to do something to you. I don't know. Because over here, sometimes it seems like, they don't like us. So he was like, I don't know if you should go. I'm like, I'm going to be okay. You can't judge everybody by those few people. I'm not going to paint a whole group of people by a few people. So, but it was positive overwhelmingly.
And you know what, sis? I think I have felt that energy too about the Africans that's in the States that they don't like us. But the same things we see about them over here in the States, they see different things about us too, negative things about us, over there. So
yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of like they are trying to divide us, away from each other, and that's what put negative imagery about us to each other. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it really takes us to go to Africa to see that they do love us. Just like we love them, they love us too.
Yeah. And to share, I usually, when I go, I try to share with them, because usually when I go, everyone is like, take me back with you. And I want to come to your house in America. And I'm like, you don't want to come to America. You're in paradise because you've always been here.
Exactly.
And you think that America is something else, but they're showing you what they want to show you. And I'm just like, it's not the place to go. And I always also explain to them that just like you guys think that some of us are ignorant because we think you live in huts and swing on trees, that they've been lying to you about us.
Exactly.
So I'm like, let's identify the real enemy, because it's not us.
It's not. It's not. It's not. And we have to come together and learn each other's customs, because we are different as far as the upbringing goes. And I feel like we both have something to bring to the table, which would be positive, because Africans have a lot of positive things about them that we can learn, especially as far as the morality goes.
Countless.
Yes. And to take on relationships. They believe in marriage. Over here in the States, it's hard to get a Black man to marry you. You know what I mean? Especially the right one. You just don't want to jump into any relationship. But I do respect them for their morality. They have very good morals and values.
Yeah. I mean, we come from them. So I guess as each generation goes on, because of the concentrated attack on our nuclear family, getting away from what generations used to have, which looked just like that.
Exactly.
And that was really one generation ago. My parents were married 37 years, my grandparents 30 something years. And before that, they had all those values.
Because we were fine doing exactly what we were doing, which were taking care of the children, taking care of the man, and letting him be the man in the relationship. We were fine with that.
That's right.
My grandmother, she's been married for over 30 years to, probably about 40, a little bit over 40 years.
Every bit.
Yeah. And I mean, she stuck through him through everything, as well as he did with her. They raised their family together and everything. But this generation has a lot of fatherless households. And I feel like that's why America has such of a big problem with, the youth. Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you, are you single?
I am single.
Okay.
No children. Yep, I am. I just, just waiting on God. Explain to people, being single doesn't mean I don't have opportunities.
Exactly.
So I have plenty of opportunities. I just decided a while ago to not date as a sport anymore. In America, they teach us, well, you got to kiss a lot of frogs to get to the prince. And I'm like, one day I was like, I don't want to kiss no more frogs. I believe I got to go through all these people. I just was like, nah, because I feel like that is what helps build baggage.
It does.
It does. And some people don't, they think they okay and they not. You got Robbie, Tim, Travis, John, you got all this from them, and then you want some Prince Charming to come with all this luggage with you, and you haven't undid, the things that you need to unload. I just don't want to date as a sport. I just don't. So everybody is a friend, which is what I was always taught by my mom and dad, especially my dad. He was like, I'm your husband until you get married. So everybody is a friend. And if I have something a little closer, then I just move on it. But right now I'm single.
Okay.
Single. Yep.
Well, for the platform, she is single. Don't come in her inbox. Look, you better ask before you come up in her inbox trying to, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So my sister, when you sent me your summary, you told me that you would like to travel all around Africa.
I do.
So where is your next place in Africa that you would like to travel to? Because you've been to South Africa.
Yes, I've been to Mozambique.
Okay.
Which was beautiful. And I want to go to West Africa. So I just got back my African ancestry DNA test.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I did my paternal because I have a brother and my maternal. So my father is 100% Yoruba, which I was shocked because usually the father side is mixed with a lot of European. Mother's side was 96% Tika from Cameroon.
Okay.
So now I'm like, okay, I do want to go to Ghana. I want to go to Sierra Leone, Senegal. I want to go all those places, but now I'm kind of zoned into those two places. And then I'll spread out from there. But the goal is I would like to see all of Africa before I die. Yeah.
My sister, she's a moderator in the group Africans Leaving America. She's been to Nigeria twice.
Really?
Her and her friend Kiana White, they are both moderators on my platform, and they went to Lagos and Calabar.
Okay.
Yeah, Calabar, Nigeria is very laid back. Lagos is busy, you know.
I heard.
Yeah. And now they are doing visas on arrival. So if you need, whenever you go to Nigeria, I have a really good tour guide. He lives in Lagos, and he's one of my moderators on the group too. So I can hook you up with him with the tour guide if you need it. You know, whenever you're ready to go, you just let me know, okay?
Definitely, yeah, because I've never been to a place in Africa where it wasn't someone I didn't know. I have no contact on the ground, and I've heard a lot of negative things about Nigeria, but I'm not listening to them.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not, because I'm like, y'all, America been feeding us this garbage for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm not listening. Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm just gonna get connected with someone I know and plan a trip.
Yeah, you have to go for yourself, most definitely. But Nigeria, I mean, it's not a bad place. My sister, she loves it. You know, like she does. Yeah, she loves Nigeria. So if she loves it, that means I'm going to love it too, because our ancestry states that we are Nigerian as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we're not 100%. We have other things in us, but Nigeria is the main DNA for us. So I want to ask you, I know that you are in the medical field. Now, would you be open to opening up like a clinic or something in Africa as one of your businesses?
I would be. And I would like to set up something that's able to mentor young doctors. And I also would like to be able to do home visits. Because I look at where my mom in South Africa, my spiritual mom is at, she's in the countryside, and they have a clinic, but it's not sufficient. And all the staff, I guess because they're overworked, they're like cantankerous. And then there's some people that can't get there. Like I know some people that are handicapped, and like if they had an emergency, they can't get to the clinic. Like, wow, like you guys need like Uber medics, like they have, like, this town has no ambulances, they have no EMT. They don't even have a firehouse. Like if you have a fire, you could call a firehouse. They have none of that. So I would like to set up something where after medical school that I can run a clinic and then set up something for other doctors and healthcare professionals to be mentored, and then maybe do something if I'm free or can free myself up to go to people who can't get out. For handicapped people is very prevalent over here in the States because people in Africa, because of all the testing that they do on Africans, are handicapped. And I'm just like, wow, these people really, a lot of them need help, so I would like to definitely be involved in that. I work in pharmaceuticals too. So I've been running clinical trials for 12 years. So that's a big monster. So I would definitely like to be on the forefront of that. Even if it's in another pharmaceutical company over there, their testing is actually safe.
Exactly.
Because a doctor is always at the forefront of these clinical trials to say, no, we're not going to take this study because I don't like what happened in the animals. Or in America, the clinical trials that I run is mostly Black men. I was shocked because the industry is mostly white men. Subjects are mostly Black men. And, you know, a lot of them, it's a secret. You know, they don't tell their families, but.
And it's for the money, you know.
Because it's good, quick, tax-free money. They do it, a lot of them do it back to back, and they don't share with people. And sometimes we don't know. This is why some of our children are sick. This messes with all parts of your body, including your sperm.
Yes, and long-term effect comes into play as well with the test subjects. You know, I knew a guy that, you know, was tested some years ago, and he ended up, you know, dying at a young age. You know, I'm not saying that it's from the clinical test, but you know, that may have played a part in it, you know.
Yeah, because it's not, you know, they're studying it, and they don't, long-term means they need to have the time to call it long-term. So we don't know, but there's a lot of my friends that actually stop because, you know, it affects their heart. Come in and I know them by name, and I'm like, you can never pass the EKG, dude. Like, why are you here? Because it's messing with their rhythm, and, you know, and a lot of them are not telling their girls. And I asked them, please disclose this because we really don't know what it does to your sperm. You know, we tell them to wait like 3 months. Sometimes it's 6 months. Tell them in consent, like, we don't suggest you have unprotected sex for 6 months. And I've even had people get pregnant on study. And you know, I had to discharge them. I had to, like, really, like, we don't know what this drug does. And you guys are in here. We try to keep girls and guys separate, but yeah, so but there needs to be more brown people in pharma, especially in Africa, that is the gate for what study comes in and what study doesn't.
Okay.
So hopefully, God willing.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's no quick fix to a cure, you know. So there's gonna have to be tests ran, you know, on whatever clinical trial that you're doing. So, but thank you. You know, thank you for being, you know, in the medical field for us, you know, and looking out for us here in America, sister. I really appreciate that. But I also want to ask you, what are your plans for Africa? Do you plan on repatriating, or do you just want to travel? Would you make that your first home, Africa?
Absolutely. From the first time that I landed in South Africa, I came out of the airport in Johannesburg, and I thought somebody put like a smelly salt on my nose because the air was so crisp and clean and fresh. And I was like, what am I breathing? Like, what is this? And then all the billboards, I'm like, there's Black people on the billboards, the TV, every station. There's Black people. I'm like, I wish I knew about this sooner, because I would be in Africa probably about 6 or 7 kids. If I knew about this in my 20s. But the plan definitely is, since my first trip has been to repatriate. So I want to finish medical school here. And that's only because, not because we're better, because we're actually not. The education, we're actually behind.
We are.
But I know that America is a designer name. So I can go further. So I'm just being strategic. I can go further and do more if my medical degree is from here. Even a lot of African doctors come here, or they go to Europe to go to medical school.
They do.
So I want to finish here and then go over to Africa. So I don't know where I need to visit. I know I want to live full-time in West Africa. But because of the hold of America and the whites that are there on South Africa, I can't really describe it, but it's a little racist bent, I guess.
Yeah.
to South Africa, even though it's 90s, 97%, 96% Black. But there's something about West Africa that's like blackety black.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, sis, black on black, and that's my thing. Like, I don't want to move to an African country where I'm going to see a lot of white people. That's why I want to repatriate to Africa, so I don't have to see a whole lot of them.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not racist, but I just feel like in this point in time of my life, what I've seen, I don't really want to deal with it. You know?
Yeah,
so,
we got enough evidence, enough proof. Even when I go to South Africa, my experience with the whites in South Africa is largely negative.
Okay. So tell us about that. Tell us about your experience with white people in South Africa, because we have a lot of people on the platform that really don't know about South Africa like that, as far as the racism, things like that. So can you tell the platform a little bit about that, sis?
Well, I run into them mostly in businesses and then of course in shopping and businesses. So they own a lot of the businesses, and they always usually have an indigenous person running the front while they stand in the back. But there's a lot of what we get here when we go into stores. They're looking at you. They're watching you in the store, where you're at, what you're touching. Some of them won't even deal with you. They'll let the Black person can be busy, but they won't help you. And I've seen them help white people waiting, and they made me wait until the Black person was available because they didn't want to help me. And then there's a huge sense of entitlement. So in the stores, if I'm shopping or in the mall, they act like they don't see us. They're looking around and over us. They don't speak. I've seen them deliberately change prices, for people of color, and then they gave other prices to people who didn't look like me. So, I don't know if that's in general, but and they seem to some of them seem to be annoyed to even see us. So I'm just kind of like, why are you here? Why? This is not your home. We know the history. You don't have the genetics to support you being in a place of this temperature with all this sun.
Exactly.
So just go back to where you came from. You'll both be happy.
Exactly.
Right? So I kind of don't like that. But I've met some nice white people. It's very, very few. I usually get, once they hear my voice, because we don't know we have accent till we go to Africa. I've seen some of them, straighten up. Oh, where are you from? Are you from America? Yeah, I'm from America. Oh, wow. I always wanted, and I'm just like, I saw how you was treating my mother over there. Now you want to talk to me. Because she's from South Africa. So they hear her, her South African voice. But when they hear my American voice, they're nicer to me. And I'm like, pump your brakes. I give them very short answers, because I'm like, I see how you treat indigenous people. We're related. We're related. You're not going to treat nobody funny and then be nice to me because I'm American. So
most
I reject
definitely
that little bit of privilege. Yeah. So that's it. But I agree with you. I like to be in a place where they are limited. We have hundreds and thousands of years of history behind why we need spaces free of white people.
We do. Segregation needs to come back into effect. I feel like we need time to heal. We do.
Absolutely.
And we shouldn't have to go all the way to Africa to do it. No. We should not have to go all the way to Africa just to get some peace of mind.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
It's not
here. And I'm just settled with that the vast majority of white people just will refuse to give up something that benefits them. So it's like a double-edged sword. I'm like, I understand, so I'm not mad at you, but at the same time, I'm like, this is inhumane. Privilege. I don't expect them to, give up the power, that they had, and to undo the lies, the lying history books, all this stuff. I don't expect them to, because their history is really not. It's not nice history. Their history is not nice. From their infancy, it's embarrassing.
Savage. It is. It's really savage. And I'll tell you one thing, sis. God has the last say. He does,
Yeah.
you know, and you cannot continue to treat a people the way that you have been treating them and think that you're going to get blessed at the end of the day.
That's what they think. They think that there's no judgment coming to them. I think some people only act right because they're afraid of punishment.
Exactly.
You know, some people act right because they actually got integrity. They want to do right. I mean, people literally live like they don't have to answer to their actions. And I just, you know, pray God have mercy. God have mercy, because they don't know who they've been messing with for a long time.
A long time. Now, when you were there in South Africa, what did you do for fun? Do they have the open markets like they have in West Africa, or is everything more like a storefront?
They definitely have the markets, and I've been to a few markets in Pretoria. Johannesburg looks like, some parts of it looks like New York City. So I went in and out of a lot of those stores. The fabric, oh my goodness. If you like fabric, you know, you got to be careful because you've been spent up all your money. And then I went to the Mall of Africa. South Africa, that is huge, huge. And that has, you know, your high-end designers and all the way down to low end. I prefer the flea markets because those are everyday, like, working families.
Yes.
You know, so I prefer those. There's even a market in front of the Pretoria Zoo that has, they call them kokwanis, they're grandma, in Shangaan, I believe. And they're out there literally beating while, you know, you're looking at their things. So I really like to look at the artist and know, like, my money is going here. My mom taught me a trick at some of the markets, and that was, she said, if you see a notebook and they're writing, that means they're working for whites. So some of the white people buy all this African jewelry, you know, all this indigenous stuff, and they know that Black people and visitors really probably not going to buy from them. Hire indigenous people to sell for them, but because they don't trust them and they think they're thieves, they make sure they have them write down everything they sell and how much they bought. So I was like, thank you for telling me that, because I'm not going to be shopping at those tables. So yeah, I prefer the markets, but between
Isn't that sad though? Isn't that sad?
It is. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. So, but I was glad to have that tip because I really want to make sure they need the money.
Most definitely.
I'm in South Africa for them, not to
I want to shop with the locals.
Right.
You know, the people that are not working for the white man. I don't want them to have none of my money in Africa if I can help it. You know, they get enough of it here in the United States.
I'm telling you, the plane ticket alone, you know, just to, yep. So I do a lot of shopping. Of course, there's the safaris. So I've been to Kruger National Park like twice.
Yeah, I saw you with the elephant. How was that?
Yes, that was
my goodness.
That was amazing. That's actually owned by whites, but all of the guys that train the elephants, of course, they're Black. And a lot of them are from Malawi, Zimbabwe, and those elephants listen to those men like you just wouldn't believe something so big is so submissive to a human being. That was beautiful. And then there's some culture things that you can go to where the tribes will make a meal and they'll do dances and things like that. But I really like to do things that the locals do. Having a cookout, you know, I go to the cookout. My mom is into a lot of church, so I've been to a lot of concerts and church services. But I try to not do so many American things because I'm like, I don't go to the mall in America because I feel like every store got the same thing. So, you know, I just went to Mall of America to say I was in Mall of America. I'll probably never go there again. You know, I like things that are outdoors, so I tend to lean towards those things.
Okay. Now, what would you tell someone that has never visited South Africa before in their lives, but thinking about going as a Black woman or a Black man? What would you tell them, sis?
I believe South Africa is like a good place to start for diasporans, especially with all of the negative propaganda we've been given about Africa. South Africa is a good place to start. You don't need any vaccines to go. You don't need a visa. Yep. So once you go and they stamp your passport, you automatically have a 3-month stay if you want to stay 2 months. So I usually stay 2 months. So that's the good thing. You don't have all these extra things. You just need a passport and just go. They also have the cheapest airfare because South Africa is the most frequently visited place in Africa. So that's why their airfare is so low. So budget-wise, I would also say start with South Africa for that. And they're still heavy because South Africa is Black, period. No matter how much they try to paint it something else, there's tons of just beautiful cultures to experience, things to see, things to do. And it's life-changing, absolutely life-changing, to be somewhere and not have to feel like, you're standing out, or even to feel like, I'm Black. When I'm here in America, I know when I go out, I'm Black and I have to behave accordingly.
Yes.
Even if that means when I'm in the store, keeping my hands visible because I don't want nobody following me. Something simple like that. It's also a level of freedom. When I got off the plane, I felt like there was bricks taken off my shoulder that I didn't even know was there.
I know. Like I was like, "Ooh, I made it!
I'm telling
you.
I'm telling you. I mean,
thank you, guys.
It was like I didn't even know how weighty it is to live in a diaspora.
Man.
I didn't know it. I would have never known until I went to Africa and literally felt like that heavy lead vest you got to put on when you take an X-ray. That's what I felt like. Is addictive. It's addictive. I mean, I changed my plane ticket twice. I was supposed to go home. I changed it twice. I was like, Mom, I'm not going home. And I ended up staying a little over 2 months because I was just, the last weeks I was supposed to stay, I was like a depression.
I know.
It was like a depression falling on me and I did not want to, and even when I finally had to leave, I cried all the way home. I cried until I booked another ticket. Yeah.
I was so depressed when I got back to the States. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I said, I have to find a way to get back permanent.
Yep.
Yep. So basically that means plan.
Please. Yep. Plan.
And
there's 2 Black-owned websites that you can put your tickets on layaway. And that's layawaytickets.com is Black-owned by Mr. Gibson. And there's Air Affordable, which is a Ghanaian girl. She started it as a student. She's here in America. You can put your plane tickets on layaway, which I've used both of them. Excellent.
Wow.
Easy. Yep. I know a firm and some other places have picked that up, but they're white owned and they've actually copied off of them. They were the first to ever do layaway plane tickets.
That is great.
Yeah. So we don't have no excuse. Those who are income, limited income, you don't have any excuse. You can pick, to pay on your ticket over time.
And thanks for that information, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have never heard of that, because I have not. Really? I've never heard of that. No, I haven't. Yeah. My husband, he just recently got his green card, so we haven't been able to travel back to Ghana, but we plan on, before the year's out, going back. So that's a great, that's something great to know. Most definitely. Absolutely. Well, sis, I appreciate your time. We're going to wrap things up here. I really appreciate your time. This has been a great interview.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, and this is Africans Leaving America. You all have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, wow, yeah. Rapid Africa. See ya. All day, yeah. Either find we, don't go find we today. Yeah. Rise up, rise up.